Hello YouTube. Today we're going to talk about the Defender XL a little bit more. I've talked about it before on the channel, but I'm going to talk about it more today. First, for the regular viewers, this is, I think, the last time for a while that I'm going to be up here in my living room with all the echoes and all that stuff. My little home renovation project it's about ready, so I can move back into the office after this video. I've got like a neon light in there. It's going to be great. But no time crisis cabinet. So you guys in the comments that are always like, oh, like this and that game, sorry, it won't be in the back. All right, let's talk about the Defender XL. So when this red dot came out, I think a couple of months ago now, there was quite a lot of discussion about it online. I saw the normal like kind of kills. The influencer people came out and said it's the best thing since sliced bread. That's not really my opinion of it. It wasn't at the time. It's just kind of like, yep, this is Vortex making a high dollar, relatively like big window, relatively like competition-y type of dot. The type of thing that would appeal to me, you know. Looking at it, it's just like, yeah, I mean, it seems there's some good things about it, and there's some things I don't love about it. And now, after having shot it for a little while, I can come back in and talk about it some more. So I've had this red dot for a couple of months. I've shot it on and off. It's been a few thousand rounds through this Glock 19. When I got this dot, obviously you're like, okay, it's a big window. Let's see if I can get a good look at it here. The camera, there we go. It's a big window. It's a 5 MOA dot, as you can see here. You're like, okay, big competition-y dot. Now, what a lot of guys don't like about this is the footprint. They don't like the RMR footprint. I kind of get it. Like, to me, I want all my dots to be the same footprint. Like, I don't really care what the footprint is, but I just want them all to be the same. I want footprint to not be an issue with the dots at all. And this one has the distinction of being different than all my other footprints. But they supplied a plate with it, so does the footprint really bother me? No, honestly, no, it doesn't. I don't really care. Like, once it's mounted on the gun, it's sort of irrelevant. So there's that stuff, and a lot of guys have talked about the quality of the glass, and they feel that this is the highest quality one. Now, the downside to this sight for me was primarily the 5 MOA dot, where it's like, that's too many MOA for me. I don't usually shoot a dot that big. Do I think it's going to make a big difference? No, I don't think it's a huge difference, but I would just, if I had my preference, if I got my druthers, I would have a smaller dot, like a 2 MOA or 3 MOA or something smaller. Right. Now, after using this thing for a while, in bright sunlight, like I shoot into the sun in the mornings in Arizona. Like this time of year, I'm going to be shooting into the sun, so I get a good look at how the optic is in bright sunlight and all of that. So after using this thing, like the feature that really stands out to me is the brightness. Like a lot of people have said it, like this dot gets nuclear bright. Like turn it up some more. Like it gets sort of unbelievably bright. I mean, I don't know, like, yeah, how that looks on camera, but it gets like way brighter than you have to indoors. Like way brighter. It's so bright, and that was noticed and appreciated in those moments of bright sunlight. Like I could always turn this thing up more and get the brightness I wanted. So that's honestly, it's like not normally a feature that I pay a lot of attention to. It's like the SROs get bright enough, I think, but I think a lot of people feel this way, is like it should have more adjustability. Like I think there's 5 brightness settings with the SRO, I think. And a lot of people are like, well, there should just be like more like in between the settings. Like I can't get quite the brightness I want just because there's not enough settings. That's been an issue. But on this one, like this dot gets crazy bright, and it actually has been sort of helpful. One thing that I thought, I thought I would get used to it over time, and I pretty much have the 5 MOA dot. Like again, if I was going to buy another one of these things, I would be like, yeah, it should be a smaller dot. But that having been said, I don't know that there's a noticeable difference shooting the 5 MOA dot. I just like don't like it as much. Okay, so net, like, what's my opinion on this thing? It's like, if you want it, buy it. Like I say, yeah, get it. Is it better than like the 507 comp? That's one that I've been buying a lot of. I feel like it's not really different. You know, it's a very similar product. That it probably, if you're making a decision like that, like 507 comp or Defender XL, it'll come down to like, oh, I want a 2 MOA dot, like I'm getting the hollow sun, right? It's not an option with this thing. Or maybe you're like, oh, I need the footprint of this. I don't want the like the SRO footprint. I want the RO. It's like, okay. It would be something like that, I think, would swing you. I don't think like just feature for feature, like red dot for red dot. It's like, I don't think it really matters that much, like which one you pick. And I think that's a pretty good place to be. Like it's the market's gotten to the point where there's a bunch of options. They're mostly pretty good now, you know, like there's some differences like open emitter, closed emitter, like what footprint, like how big of a dot or like what reticle options, that kind of stuff. There's options out there, but it's like there's a lot of stuff that's going to work okay. There's definitely cheaper stuff than this you can get, and that'll work just fine too. I think the market's in a pretty good place where you have a bunch of options that are very, very acceptable. That's a good way of putting it. Enough of the rambling. Questions, comments, put them down below.